Good afternoon. May I share my good afternoon. Is my slide visible, Doc? Okay. Have a pleasant afternoon to all of us, and my respect to our esteemed dissertation examiners. We have Dr. Fel Salabis, Dr. Mariano Lirin, Dr. Ninita I. Prado, and Dr. Edson Espina, and to my research advisor, Dr. Teresita Tito Mapon. I am Mary Grace G. Panoy, a senior high school teacher currently connected in the Department of Education here in the Division of Bukidnon, and I am assigned here in Kibawi National High School, Natulungan, Kibawi, Bukidnon. And I am truly honored and privileged to present my dissertation proposal entitled Curriculum, Culture, Malnutrition, and Discipline in Public Secondary Schools, a causal model on functional illiteracy. So sometime in May 2025, the problem of functional illiteracy has gained the attention of the media and later on discussed at the Senate. And as a teacher, this captures my interest because it is a sad reality that graduates from basic education, and about 21% of senior high school graduates are functionally illiterate, can read but cannot comprehend. Okay? So, functional illiteracy is the inability of an individual to use reading, writing, and calculating skills to engage and respond to the call of the society actively. A functionally literate citizen is needed to really achieve better production and an improved economy, thereby contributing to the country's progress. That is according to Vagvolgi in 2016. Bagvolgi et al. 2016. So in FLEM's result, this is a functional literacy education mass media survey results indicated that almost 19 million Filipinos are classified as basically literate but not functionally literate because of a lack of comprehension skills. That's according to Philippine Statistics Authority in 2024. Now, based on the study conducted by FLEMS in 2024, the observed occurrence of functional illiteracy was most prevalent in Visayas, followed by Mindanao and Luzon. That's 7.5, 6.9, and 3% respectively. Also, again, the data is coming from the Philippine Statistics Authority in 2024. Now, education, according to Ibarra and Ikimi in 2021, education and the mastery of the needed literacy are vital in the fight against poverty. Now, this study also supports the Sustainable Development Goal 4.6, which states that by 2030, ensure all youth and a substantial proportion of adults, both men and women, achieve literacy and numeracy. So, why this study? So, despite the campaign against functional illiteracy, studies have shown that the prevalence of this issue is occurring globally. So, the functional illiteracy has been considered a significant barrier to the sustainable growth of all countries. So, therefore, there should be a more detailed investigation which is necessary to analyze the specific social, economic, and cultural limitations and their impact to functional illiteracy. So the research gap, there is a lack of research exploring the influence of curriculum, culture, malnutrition, and discipline on functional illiteracy. So this study also is supported by theories. First is situated learning theory or SLT. This theory posits that learning occurs best in context and through participation in the real-world activities. Another is social efficiency theory. This theory emphasized the primary purpose of school is really to prepare students with specific skills and behaviors that the society needs for efficient functioning. Another theory is from Bronfenbrenner ecological theory. This theory emphasizes that human is shaped by many influencing factors in the environment. And lastly, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. This theory posits that basic physiological needs must be met first before higher level cognitive functions or learning can occur. So this is my schematic diagram. I have only four independent variables and one dependent variable. Because this is a causal model, so each independent variable is pointed towards the dependent variable, which is functional illiteracy. So my four independent variables are the curriculum, culture, malnutrition, and discipline, and its impact level to the functional illiteracy. For the significance of my study, the following institution and organization can benefit out from the result of the study. The education committee, this could be a basis for the necessary reforms in our educational programs. And for the Department of Education, they can enhance educational program also and revise all those unnecessary content in the curriculum. And then in the regional offices, so that learning could be contextualized. They will implement remediation that is tailored to the basic or the specific need of the learners within the region. And then the division offices, they can devise a training for teachers and improve disciplinary measures. Kasi rampant na ngayon, ginagamit ngayon ang mga child protection and all of that will protect the child. And then school administrators, they can enhance school policies and conduct feeding programs to address malnutrition. And then for barangay officials, strictly monitor child marriage, because this is one also part of the culture, child marriage. And then for teachers, they can use teaching approaches that connects lesson to real life application. And for the parents, they can provide nutrition and then consider discipline as vital to learning. And then for students, they can value education to combat poverty. And for the future researchers, this could support or refute their studies. And then for the scope and the limitation of the study, the scope, it will involve 20 public schools in the division of Bukidnon, and then the experienced mentors in the field of education will be the respondents of the study. For the delimitation, the respondents will be limited to the school administrators and teachers in the division of Bukidnon. Then the questionnaires will be administered online via Google Forms. For the research setting, the study will be conducted in the 20 public secondary schools within the division of Bukidnon. And then this is because, why we focus on secondary schools? Because according to the FLEMS survey in 2024, 21% of high school graduates are functionally illiterate. So that is why we focus on secondary schools. And then another reason is regional disparities in curriculum implementation is evident in the division of Bukidnon, and then cultural practices, prominence of malnutrition, and instances of violent behavior are evident within the campuses in the province of Bukidnon. For my research design, this will employ Descriptive correlational design describe the impact level of curriculum, culture, malnutrition, and discipline. And then for the causal comparative research design, it will identify what variable significantly influence functional illiteracy. And then finally, it will utilize causal modeling through path analysis. And for the respondents and sampling procedure, public secondary teachers and school administrators who have been employed for 5 years or more will be the respondents of the study. It is because, according to Olszewski et al. In 2023, he posits that decision-making is strongly influenced by experience. So that is why experienced teachers and school administrators will be the respondents of the study. And for the sampling procedure, I am using the stratified random sampling. The entire population was divided into strata, and that is based on location by municipality. Then using the formula stratified subgroup sample size is equal to the total sample divided by the entire population, and the quotient will be multiplied to the population of subgroup. So the desired sample was calculated using the Rausoft calculator. So this is the population and the sample distribution. These are the 20 municipalities, and each municipality is well represented because I use the formula in computing the strata, the sample for each municipality. Okay? And then for the research instrument, I will be using the self-made questionnaire, which is composed of 6 parts. Part 1 is the demographic. The purpose of this is to get the number of the length of surveys and then the location of the respondent. And then part 2 is the curriculum. Part 3, culture. Part 4, malnutrition. And Part 5, discipline. And then Part 6, the prevalence of functional illiteracy. And for the validity and reliability, the instrument will undergo phase validity with 3 experts in the field evaluating the relevance, appropriateness, clarity, and coherence of questions related to answering the research objective. That's according to Ranganathan et al. 2024. So pilot testing will be conducted to 30 respondents who will not be a part of the actual study. And then the reliability and the validity test will be conducted through Cornback Alpha test. And for the data gathering procedure, once the self-made questionnaire has been validated and approved by experts, the manuscript will then be submitted to the Research Ethics Board or the LDCU-REB. So the committee now will review whether the content of my proposal is ethically acceptable and is in compliance with the institution's research guidelines. And a letter also requesting permission to conduct the study will be submitted to the Dean of the School of Graduate Studies. And then this letter will be forwarded to the Vice President for research publication and extension for approval. And then a letter for approval will also be sent to the President of Liceo de Cagayan University via the Vice President for Human Resource Development. And then as an employee of Department of Education, I will be making a request permission to conduct the study will be sent to the school's division superintendent in the division of Bukidnon for approval, and then also to the school principal and the school heads for each participating schools. And for the matrix form of the problem, and then hypothesis, statistical tools. Problem number 1, what is the impact level of curriculum on functional illiteracy in public secondary schools? This is hypothesis-free and it will use mean and standard deviation. Problem number 2, what is the impact level of cultural practices such as child marriage on functional illiteracy in public secondary schools? This is hypothesis-free and it will use mean and standard deviation. And for my problem number 3, what is the impact level of malnutrition to functional illiteracy in public secondary schools? Again, hypothesis-free, and it will use mean and standard deviation. And for my problem number 4, what is the impact level of discipline to functional illiteracy in public secondary schools? Hypothesis-free, and it will use mean and standard deviation. For my inferential question, problem number 5, is there a significant relationship between functional illiteracy and curriculum, culture, malnutrition, and discipline? So the hypothesis, this is null hypothesis number 1. there is no significant relationship between functional illiteracy and curriculum, culture, malnutrition, and discipline. And it will use Pearson product moment correlation. And for my problem number 6, which variable, singly or in combination, best influences functional illiteracy? For the hypothesis, there is no variable that influences functional illiteracy, and it will use multiple regression. Problem number 7, what causal model can be developed on functional illiteracy? Hypothesis, there is no causal model that best fit functional illiteracy, and it will use causal modeling through path analysis. Okay, and these are my references. And thank you very much for your time. And I am now ready to answer your questions.